Welcome to Go Mustang Sports as we recap men's soccer. Usually it's a weekly thing. This time it's over a span of about 2 weeks. I'm Dave McHugh, joined by head coach John Plevyak. And coach, the reason it's 2 weeks is because you played 3 games in those 2 weeks. You had Lancaster Bible, then Goucher, then Manhattanville. A little bit different than the way you guys started, where you really jammed in a bunch of games at the beginning of the season. A little bit of a slowdown here. You come out 2-1, as you hoped, not as you hoped. How's it look?
No, I think we're a little disappointed in the overall record, but not in the way we've been playing. Very close. Those games at the beginning are basically to try to work the new players in, transfers and freshmen. Unlike winter sports or spring sports, where you have a lot of time before you're ready for your first game, we get 10 actual days from move-in to playing competition. So you got to use those early games to find out your mix. And then on purpose, we took a few days off there in between games to heal up and figure out the mix and what we've got to work on for the middle part. I always try to break the season into thirds, and so we get more preseason, which includes those first 5 games, and now middle pre-league games to fine-tune and then get ready for what we need to do. So a little disappointing. We played a strong Newman team. We outshot them, but we couldn't score. But then came back. Lancaster Bible was a good side, and we got 4 against them there, and did real well against Goucher, a very organized, well-coached team, and we had to run a play against them. And so pleased. Yeah, we're pleased. We let one slip away on Saturday at Manhattanville. I thought we were the better side, and so when I look back after the first 9 games, I'd like to have another win or two, but I really enjoy the way we're playing. We play a very fast-paced offensive game. We're just having trouble putting the ball in that. We've outshot every team we've played, and we've out-corner-kicked them, which usually shows domination. And we just now got to fine-tune the rest to score some goals.
Before we look ahead a little bit, you start off a little bit streaky. You start well. You have a tough stretch then you kind of come back against Lancaster Bible in a 4-0 game and then a 2-0 game against Goucher. Take the 1-0 hit against Manhattanville. How do you keep the team from kind of ebbing and flowing a little bit? How do you smooth things out and maybe in an upwards trajectory?
Well, I think the important aspect of the first 2 thirds is to make sure we're on the same page for the last third. That's the all-important conference. So we take a little bit from each game and strengthen it, or and try to improve on it. Use a lot of video, a lot of film, and the fact we get some people nicked up and we have so many few people, it's still a lot of interchangeable parts. So sort of like being the conductor of a symphony, you got to get the violin to play with the tubas or the harmonica or whatever they're doing in that short period of time. So that's what we're trying to do. We have been hurt with injuries. We left 5 people behind for the Manhattanville game, and when you start moving that many pieces around, it's tough in a game. It calls for rhythm and 90 minutes of running. So we're still working on it. And I guess that's the best thing is we're still in the process of putting it all together.
Looking ahead, we're actually talking here on Tuesday. So tonight you start a bit of a challenge, back-to-back away games, Gwinnett, Mercy, then Franklin and Marshall. I'm sure that's not exactly how you wanted to schedule things, but that is what your schedule is. How do you get this team ready really for a run into Pennsylvania, play a game, come home, then a run into Pennsylvania again for a game and come home, and without really a practice in between?
Well, the season is so short. You consider the other sports. The fall sport is the shortest one in the time. And with our conference, where once league play starts, it's every Saturday, Wednesday, or Saturday, Tuesday. You can't find out a conference game. So the trick is then trying to fit enough games in for everybody to make sure that you're ready and that enough people participate to keep everybody happy. So you got to take the games where they're offered to you. And in this case, we were short a few games, and the Gwinnett Mercy coach said, we definitely, if we came up, we would come back next year, and it's the only place we could fit it in. So we decided rather than not, we would go ahead and get more people into the mix. So you don't expect to have 5 starters out when you do that, but it gives the other guys opportunity to play. So if you're going to be a strong team and you recruited well, you have 20 strong, and you split it up over 2 days. We'll get it done. It's just another challenge.
You talk about the injuries and then the starters out. Obviously, some cards have come into play from the Manhattanville game and just accruing over time, too. So you won't have the exact lineup you probably want to put on the field. But it sounds to me like you're looking forward to this in some sense of also getting other guys ready to play for when you do get into conference action.
Yeah, and we started Logan McCarron as our center back, the sophomore, and he's been out the last 4 games, but Nico Garcia has stepped in and has done great. And then Jake Miller, freshman, has been able to play in that slot. And sure, I'm sure he wasn't aware that he would be getting this much time and experience, but it's been great, again, and it will help us in league play. Andy DeLuca, I think, is the finest defender. Andy DeLuca, I'd start for any team in this conference. Blew his knee out last week. He's done for the season. And so Ryan Downs has to step up and just played admirably against Manhattan, gave us 90 minutes against Goucher and then 90 against Manhattanville. So with him back there, we get 1 goal in 180 minutes of play. So again, one man goes down, another steps up. So those things happen. It's unfortunate those boys are gone for the season, but other people get a chance, and so far the ones that have stepped in have done a tremendous job for us.
Again, right before conference play gets going here, obviously no conference games have taken place, but when you look at the conference now, is it what you expected going into this point? Has it changed? Do you think it's up in the air, or is it still, Messiah to beat and everyone else to finish?
For my money, and of course it's subjective to in some degree, but I think from top to bottom, it's the toughest men's soccer conference in all of Division III. I mean, I'm not totally aware of what's west of the Mississippi, but just based on who shows up in the NCAAs, I got to think that the most concentrated number of good teams in any conference are up and down the East Coast, and from ours, there's nobody that's weak. I mean, Lycoming was picked to finish, I think, last or second to last in our league in a preseason poll opening game. They play York, number 4 in the country, toe for toe, and lose 1-0. And I see overall record they're second place in the conference, out of conference. So, and they're supposed to be the second to last best team. So there's no easy games in this conference. Everyone's a dogfight. Last year on opening day, there was 1 game that was decided by more than a goal. All the rest were decided by a goal, and 3 of the 4 that were decided by a goal were in overtime. So that just shows you how tough that league is.
And quickly, before we let you go, weather becomes a factor now. We've transitioned into fall. The temperatures are coming down. And we've had some beautiful sunny days, but now the rain becomes more prevalent, especially the colder rain. How do you get the guys tuned in? What do you change in the schemes and in the coaching to get ready for really all kinds of different options and weather scenarios as you go forward?
We issue them umbrellas. And
That's a great idea, actually. It's hard to play. But.
Yeah, I understand the women's team had a tough game in the weather. Excuse me. We were in Connecticut, upstate New York. We dodged that. It was very windy, but we didn't have a lot of rain. So, but yeah, I mean, the turf negates a lot of that.
Sure.
So usually there's not much of a problem if you're on the turf field if it's raining. It's the wind that usually bothers you the most, and we get some fall days that are very windy. But if it's raining during practice time, we don't go inside. So we hope that we might get a few days where we can run where it is raining. But so far it's been fine, and the long-term forecast doesn't look like much. So we don't worry too much about that. I think in the past 4 years we may have played 3 games in a pretty poor storm, and all of them were on turf, and it really didn't matter. So. We'll just hope that luck continues.
I was going to say, hopefully luck continues for sure. Well, he is Coach John Plevyak from the men's soccer team. We'll catch up with them after their back-to-back games here again on Tuesday and Wednesday night on the road, but we'll catch up with them as they begin conference play here shortly. For John Plevyak, I'm Dave McHugh for Go Mustang Sports. Awesome. All right. Thanks, Coach.
Got it.